If you're listening to this episode, I bet you're wondering what behaviors you're doing that keep you from getting your needs met and ending up in situationship after situationship. I got you. I've created a situationship quiz and I'm so excited about it. Take the quiz to discover more behaviors and more tips for navigating situationships, because I know you're in more than one right now. No judgment, boo-boo. I used to have 5 situationships at a time. Yes. So you're not alone. You can find the quiz at www.dontea.co/quiz. That's DONTEA.co/quiz. I'll drop it in the show notes as well. Okay, back to the episode. So because we think about the good and don't hang around in the bad, it's hard to determine what to do. What is easier to do is to just say, well, we had good times, so let me just keep hoping the good times will happen again. Hi, loves. I'm Dontea Mitchell-Hunter, your new fave self-worth therapist, and this is Detox Therapy. Quick note, even though I'm a fully licensed therapist, this show is not a replacement for therapy. If you find yourself needing a therapist, definitely search for one in your area. Now, if you want to work with me though, and you live in Washington, Georgia, or DC, then please go to my website at soireesintherapy.com and book your free 15-minute consultation. Hi, loves. We have a great listener question today, and I can't wait to talk about it with you. It's something most of us can say we have dealt with, for sure, which is, do I go back to that old relationship? Do I continue to stay in this relationship? What do I do? Like that is the field we're playing in today. So here it is. A listener wrote in and said, when I think about my past relationships, or even when I am in one, I always think about the good times. And then I get all confused, don't know if I should give up or am giving up too soon. How will I know? Cue the music. How will I know if he really loves me? I say a prayer with every heartbeat. I mean, like, I know someone else was singing a song with me. I know. How can you say, how will I know, and not immediately hear Whitney Houston? Like, come on. How will I know? Okay, moving on. So I love this letter because I don't know why I'm so comfortable singing to strangers, but I enjoy it. Okay. So I love this letter because this is what I like to call the fairy tale. It's when you examine a relationship in a very partial way. Like that will lead positive results, the positive memories. You know, the release of dopamine, which is the good feeling chemical. So when we only look at what went well, because I mean, who doesn't want more of what's good, right? Like, so you wouldn't look at the unpleasant, the negative, the depressed, the confused, the betrayal times, because we don't want more of that. Like we don't want to feed ourselves more negative, unpleasant, sad chemicals. We want the dopamine. So of course we're going to look at just the highlights, just the highlight reel, just the Instagram, you know? So because we think about the good and don't hang around in the bad, it's hard to determine what to do. What is easier to do is to just say, well, we had good times, so let me just keep hoping the good times will happen again. Maybe I'll say to my partner, hey, remember when we went on that vacation? Let's go again. Because secretly, you are trying to recreate a moment. Or you may say, remember when we used to just laugh? What happened? When you actually have no real intention of actually trying to figure out what happened. Because that may bring on, more than likely, may bring on like unpleasant emotions, right? You just want to get to the laugh moment. Just the ha 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 ha, not like what actually happened for us to, how do we find ourselves sharing the same seat on the couch to now you're on your end, I'm on my end. Not because we are hot or not because we want the armrest. It's because like an intentional energy thing is I don't want to be close to you. So we're not going to look into that. We're just going to, can we go back to those highlight moments, right? I mean, I've been there, like, like most of every question that comes through or every topic, I've been there. There have been so many times when I've looked back on previous relationships and I thought, well, we've had good days, lots of laughs, sex was great. And so why can't we just make it work? Like those things were good. So like, I don't understand. Like, why can't we just give another good old try? Maybe, so you start telling yourself, right? Like maybe if I apologized again for what I said that day after we left the restaurant, what if I just stopped asking for clarity around our future? Right. I've been in situations in relationships, you know, and maybe we have been dating for a while or maybe just hanging out, not even like on dating type status. And I would want to know, like, what is the plan here? Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? And so, you know, maybe the person would get frustrated or not understand or not understand, but not want to talk about it. And so for me at that time, I left the relationship, and then some random day I may be pondering on the relationship again and then telling myself, okay, girl, why don't you just get back with them? But don't ask that same question about what are we doing? Where is it going? Right. So we tell ourselves, I'll just change myself kind of thing, and it'll be good. And then we'll have the good times, and then we'll have laughs. Right. So it's like all these like what ifs. So like I have thought about very specific relationships where I wanted to see past these negative times, past the times of lies, or even just flat out differences in values. Like I remember, such a sweet memory I have, and it's also kind of sad. I remember there was one guy in, oh my goodness, this was like, was it college? It must have been my freshman year in college, like the start of that. And you couldn't tell me I didn't love this guy. Like, you couldn't tell me. Met him in high school, and here we are. And so we stopped talking for whatever reason. I can't remember that reason. But we stopped talking, and he said to me, like, we were on the phone one day. He's like, Dantea, don't you know that I want to be with you, but I can't because you're not Muslim, and I have to marry a Muslim woman. And I was like, what? Like, cry. He's crying. I'm crying. It was so sad. And in that moment, I was like, do I want to become like Muslim? Like, do I want that? Right? And here's the thing. Some of us do. Some of us do convert for relationships and whatnot. However, I was 18, and was I even 18? Maybe I was 17. Let's just say I was 18, and that was like something I was considering. And also I knew, one, I didn't want to be married at 18. That's for sure. And I was just like, dang, we just can't be together. And so as time went on, as I would think about it, I'd be like, okay, well, how bad can it be if I were to leave the religion I grew up with, you know, the walk of like faith that I grew up with, right? And I just decided like, I don't want that. So that's an example of differences in values even. So I've gone back to relationships more times than I can count, like not just with him, like, okay, many relationships. I've tried to be a different version of myself. I've tried to live outside my bounds, even totally ignored abuse, right? Like, nope, it's okay. It's all right. Cause you know, we have our good moments. So these hiccups, these uncomfortable times, it's fine. Cause we'll go back to those good times. I mean, I've been in relationships where there was a lot of illegal stuff going on. I ignored. I've been in relationships where, oh my gosh, I cried so many times in that relationship. I think I started taking pictures and like sending it to him as if like that would change anything. So I get it. And it's really hard because again, we focus on the fairy tale. We just think about the like this very faux overarching, this very faux summary generalization of the good times. Be very careful, my loves, because when we just focus on the good times, it's a trap in itself, right? If we just focus on the good times, how do I say, you know what? It'll make sense. I'm just gonna keep going. It'll make sense. So here's the thing. When we only look at the positive, we are doing ourselves a disservice by not looking at the whole picture and really asking ourselves what happened for it to end, right? It's it's a slippery slope. That's all I'm saying. Really asking yourself, like, what else took place in the relationship? Not just the time we got ice cream, not just the time we had the water fight, not just the time we went on a double date, finally with our best friend, right? Like what took place? Were there toxic moments? Did I have toxic tendencies that need healing? Wait, what? Yes, you heard me correctly, boo-boo. Sometimes we only look at what the other person needs to do to change. And that's just toxic in itself. If you don't even question your own accountability in the relationship, like, I know how good it feels to blame the other person. Trust me. Like, their fault. However, if we're not looking at the whole picture again, because a relationship is not just one person. Relationship is a dynamic that's happening between two people, 3, 4, whatever. That means you are always going to be a part of the relationship and its happenings. So to not check your own self is problematic. So, have you looked at yourself? Have you thought about how every time they ask you a question, you blow up, belittle them? That was me. I've done that. I've done that a lot in relationships. And again, that's why I had to really start my healing, because that's just not okay. It's not cute. That's not fun. Have you really thought about how you still expect people to read your mind and get mad when they miss the mark? It's a setup. So I say all this to say, listener, when you think about, should I return to a previous relationship or should I continue to stay in this relationship? Ask yourself the necessary questions to make an authentic and intentional decision. Here are some questions to get you started. What is it that I am missing in this relationship? I like really asking yourself, what am I longing for? What am I missing about that relationship? Is it love? Is it affection? Quality time? Sex? Question number 2. Are these things I can provide to myself while I figure out if I want to stay, leave, go back? Such as sex, love, quality time, and affection. Because you can provide yourself all those things without being in a relationship. Because you still have a relationship to yourself, right? Question 3. Would I say the relationship was healthy? Right? Really looking at the relationship. Now, I'm not saying all relationships are 100% healthy. Absolutely not. Like if you know of one that like there's nothing else but healthiness and on the up, you let me know. Okay? I want to know. Because we're all human. We all have our flaws. We all have our self-serving moments. All of that takes place. So asking yourself overall, was it healthy? Looking at the whole thing. If you don't know, then ask yourself, what is a healthy relationship? Maybe you really don't know. I know I didn't know for a long time. I never thought about it. What would I identify as a healthy relationship? Really think about that. And then, line that up against the one you're thinking about. Question 4. Were there toxic behaviors displayed? This includes yourself. Question 5. Have I worked on my healing? By asking yourself these questions, it will help you to fully look at the relationship and see if it's just a self-serving desire for momentary loneliness. If you truly want to see if this relationship deserves another chance, ask yourself what will be different. How will you be different? How will they be different? If we are going to be the exact same in the relationship as we were before, well then baby, it will turn out the same way as it did before. Maybe it will end in 6 months instead of 8. I hope this helps, listener. I really do. Keep me updated. So remember, boo, like you are not alone. I can write a whole book on all the times, years, I've returned to relationships. Years. Like, OMG. Like, if you want to hear more of those stories, let me know. Send me a message. Okay. Now it's your turn to re-examine the relationship fully, not just the fairy tale. You got this. Until next time. Thank you, loves, for listening to this week's episode. If you're enjoying the show, it'd be really great if you could please rate and review. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Soirees in Therapy. To learn more about the services I offer, visit soireesintherapy.com. If you've got a question you'd like me to answer, please send your question to Dantea at soireesintherapy.com. The answer might just become an episode.